Here's a question. Where are the Silk Song cheat codes? I can't find them. There was a big Nintendo Direct this week. 60 freaking minutes of Nintendo news. Please note, I didn't necessarily say video game news, because now Nintendo news is fairly broad, but they kicked the whole thing off by celebrating Mario's 40th anniversary. And I didn't realize it until they said this out loud. It's really Super Mario's 40th anniversary. Regular Mario from Mario Bros? He turned 40 in 2023. Whatever the case, what I'm saying is, turning 40 isn't really that big of a deal, if you think about it. I'm not saying they had to do something big for Mario's 40th anniversary. What just kind of rubs me the wrong way is packaging and pretending a bunch of things that would have happened anyway are all part of the celebration, right? Adding in Yoshi and the Mysterious Book, that's not Mario. It's like your parents inviting your cousin to your birthday party you're having with your friends. And your cousin feels awkward too, and they just end up watching TV in a different room the whole time. You ever have that? While previous Mario birthdays did have some pretty cool special things, none of what they presented this week was that. And again, I'm not complaining about that necessarily. There's just one thing that really threw me for a loop. This is in reference to the newly freshly titled Super Mario Bros. Galaxy movie.
This movie will be the main event of the Super Mario Bros. 40th anniversary.
Mario, the video game character, is celebrating his 40th anniversary, not with a video game, but with a movie. And here's the thing, from the perspective of Nintendo, the corporation, yes, that movie is the main event. It will certainly produce more revenue than Baby Mario Tennis Adventures, but I think there's something to be said about knowing who's watching the Direct, respecting your audience. Imagine Chris Meledandri here popping on screen and anyone saying, "Ooh, shush, I gotta hear this." This man talked for 2 minutes. He got more time than Monster Hunter Stories 3. Wait a minute, though. I think he's about to tell us something interesting.
We're also thrilled to welcome back Chris Pratt as Mario.
Okay.
Anya Taylor-Joy as Princess Peach.
All right.
Charlie Day as Luigi.
Yep.
Jack Black as Bowser.
Yeah, I remember.
Keegan-Michael Key as Toad.
Mm-hmm.
And Kevin Michael Richardson as Kamek.
Of course. Despite how unexciting that vacuously paced list was, there was secretly a scoop of an omission.
I'm eager for you to see a humorous Donkey Kong by Setsun.
Maybe this is a stretch here, but I think maybe Donkey Kong's absence in this next movie implies that in a few years, we may be looking at Donkey Kong himself celebrating some arbitrary anniversary, and the main event of that will be Donkey Kong's movie. Because look, Nintendo loves movies. Okay? And Kyoto-based marathons. Another one of Nintendo's passions, niche market curiosities. And I don't just mean Tomodachi Life or the Human Ditto game, both delightfully weird. I mean real physical curiosities, the kind you could stash in the back of your curiosity store. First, the talking flower. This is just nuts to me. There's someone at Nintendo, there have to be several people at Nintendo, who sincerely believe that the charmless talking flower from Super Mario Wonder is their Baby Yoda. Somebody said, we gotta get this on shelves fast. I don't get it. It's not cute. It's not funny. It's not even at the baseline of likable. It's not a thing they should have made, and therefore I want one. Next, we gotta talk about the Virtual Boy. Now, if you're a young one, you might not know that the Virtual Boy was one of Nintendo's greatest hardware failures of all time. So isn't it cool that now you'll be able to play all of those games that were previously locked to this very specific handheld on your Switch? Nope.
In order to play, you'll need this dedicated accessory.
That's right. You cannot play any of these games unless you also purchase the $100 Virtual Boy replica unit that you insert the Switch into, or the $25 cardboard unit, which you will have to hold up to your face. Nintendo truly said, Do you see these games on your screen right now? Do you see them like this? You can't play them like this. You must get your eyes into a headset to play any of these games. And worth restating, as always, that it's tied to a subscription service. So if you don't happen to pay the annual fee, or if the subscription service ends someday, this is a functionless husk. It's weird. It's a weird thing to do. It's unnecessary, it's strange, but it is at least unique, mention-worthy. But what I really want to talk about is this real-life Mario Galaxy storybook. All right, so we got some synergy happening here. Galaxy is the movie that comes out next year, so they will be selling a Galaxy 1 and Galaxy 2 re-releases separately and as part of a package. And then you will also be able to buy this book. I feel I really need to explain fully the weirdness of the book. All right, so the book itself in the video game, in Super Mario Galaxy, is just a side thing you may access. As you progress through the game, you unlock more pages. You can go to the book and access lore. It's optional lore. So in a 2009 interview with Wired about Galaxy 2, this very funny thing came up. Shigeru Miyamoto, this guy, says Mr. Koizumi, this guy, director of Mario Galaxy, is the type of person who, whenever we're working on a new Mario game, he always wants to bring more story elements into it, as he did with Super Mario Galaxy. But in talking with him this time, he agrees and feels that with Galaxy 2, there won't be a need for as deep of a story. So it was settled. Interviewer Chris Kohler then brings up a 2007 interview he had with Koizumi, in which the director mentioned how he'd have to sneak story into some games without people noticing too much. He said a lot of the EAD games that do seem to have a lot of story, a lot of that came from my influence, but those are aspects of the games that Miyamoto wasn't nearly as fond of, and occasionally didn't like. Okay, back to 2009. Miyamoto says, he said that? Chris Kohler says, yes. Miyamoto says, well, I put a stop to that at the beginning this time. And for emphasis, punched the air with his fist. And then they had a good laugh. Well, look who's laughing now. Koizumi is not only printing out his forbidden lore storybook.
In Rosalina's library, you can read a storybook. It's now in both games. And we've also added new pages.
And to be clear with you right now, these are not remakes. They're not adding content to these two games. However, they are adding the storybook for Koizumi. He's making it right. He's finally getting his wish. And do you think Miyamoto cares? I don't. Again, the Super Mario Galaxy movie is the main event. Thanks for the lore, bro. But really, personally, here's what I find interesting about the thing. Is, I talk a lot about IP and how sometimes something that has a great impact on a small amount of people can have more long-term value than something that has a small impact on a great amount of people. New Super Mario Bros. Wii sold more than Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 combined. And I was always bitter about that. That game was ridiculously more popular. But it's not called the new Super Mario Bros. Movie, is it? Nope. Super Mario Galaxy has had and will continue to have more of an impact despite having less popularity. And I think that's cool. It's basically like what I've been trying to explain, but just evidently there. Nintendo chose this direction for their creative endeavors, for their attempt to make another billion at the box office. And heck, it might be cool to believe that maybe 40 years from now, we'll be walking into cinemas eager to see the debut of the hentai golf movie. Anyway, that's Delayed Input. I'll be back next week. Until then, thanks for watching. All right, another thing we got to talk about is Metroid Prime 4. Last Delayed Input, I was talking about Metroid Prime 4. Basically, every time they show more Metroid Prime 4, I've been saying they haven't shown the thing yet. They showed you being psychically able to open doors and psychically able to aim shots. And I said, no, that's not the thing. The thing is yet to come. There's a thing still. This week, Metroid Prime 4 debuted the thing, and it is a motorcycle. And, correspondingly, a wide open sand area that apparently connects the game's various biomes. That's a twist. I didn't see it coming. I do feel like the trailer could have made that moment more exciting. In fact, I suspect whomever is editing these is doing them spitefully. Basically, I'm suspecting there's some sort of reverse Koizumi in the editing bay who is sneakily trying to put the studio out of business. Just you in first person shooting some short, slow rock monsters. Supposed to be trying to sell a video game here. Anyway, there was something else unique about the Metroid Prime 4 trailer. This. Did you hear that? No guy. Somehow, the Metroid Prime 4 trailer is the only trailer in the entire 60-minute direct that was not preceded or recapped by one of the three presenters. The three presenters, of course, being Miyamoto, Koizumi, and this guy.
As a nameless hero, join forces with Xiao Xiao.
But I frankly think, at this point, and look, it's not always bad. It's like, let's have some fun, Ko. Sometimes it works. But sometimes I think it is actively doing a disservice to the video game it is trying to promote. Like Hades 2 is out here, finally announcing its version 1 release date with this quite excellent animated trailer. It's got this climactic tease, right? Blackness. And now, let's hear from Mr. Cornball.
Prepare to battle beyond the underworld of Greek myth in Hades 2.
I just feel like he's not hitting the right tone like 45% of the time. And so with Metroid Prime 4 completely devoid of Mr. Cornball, one has to believe that was an intentional choice. Someone said, please, just play the trailer. Please just play it. Nothing else. They already made fun of us before.
These powers allow Samus to operate mechanisms.
Can we please, just this time, just show the trailer? Which I think is a good idea. Unfortunately, I don't think the trailer itself pops that much. It's the last shot. They're treating Psylux like he's got the aura of Sephiroth, and he clearly doesn't. You have to earn that, Psylux. I don't know how many people are really looking forward to the release of this amiibo. I have to imagine most people are just going to buy it out of habit or devotion, because I don't know how many Psylux fans there are, And you're saying, Kyle, that's not fair. Okay, not everybody can be Sephiroth. Well, I'll tell you what, it's the end of this video. I'll give you 3 quick things that would make Psylux a viable villain. Number 1, at the beginning of the game, and I know this sounds like a joke, but I'm dead serious about this, you show Psylux in his own spacecraft, opening future space Instagram, and anonymously writing mean comments on Samus's posts. Makes him human, makes him petty, makes him deep. Number 2, you give Samus a little pet buddy named Gwoggle, and Gwoggle fills up your health when it gets low, and unfortunately at one point of the game, Gwoggle's missing. You can't find Gwoggle, and obviously you're assuming the worst. You open this dark door, and Psylux is standing there, rubbing his belly, and he says, Samus, so good of you to join us. We're having a fine dish. It's called Gwoggle. And number 3, open the helmet. Psylux's helmet is, quite frankly, far too basic for a primary antagonist. It's plain. It's just visually uninteresting. At some point in the game, Psylux's mask will have to open. And you see, you guessed it, Psylux is Gwoggle.